enjoy learning!
Hello, my dear students! It's me again, Ma'am Mel, and welcome to our week 3 lesson in grade 8 mathematics, which is all about operations and rational algebraic expressions. So sit back, relax, and enjoy learning! For today's session, our most essential learning competencies are: first one, performs operations on rational algebraic expressions, and the second one is to solve problems involving rational algebraic expressions. It's time to review grade 8 students. So I have here different examples for you to easily accomplish your learning task number 1. So we have the first example, we have 7 over 15 plus 8 over 15. So what have you observed on our first example? Okay, correct. We have similar denominators. So always remember that adding or subtracting fractions can be done easily if the fractions are similar or we have similar denominators. Otherwise, you have to make the fraction similar by finding its equivalent fractions. Okay, so going back to our first example, we have 7 over 15 plus 8 over 15. So as you can see, we have similar denominator. So we just need to copy our similar denominator. So which is 15. Okay, let us write 15. And then let us perform the operation on our numerator. So we have 7 plus 8. So let us copy 7 plus 8. Okay, so if you want to have the long process, let us divide 15 by 15. So the answer is 1 times 7. We have 7. And then copy the addition sign. And then 15 divided by 15, the answer is 1 also. And then times 8, the answer is 8. So as you can see, we got the same answer. Okay, so let us perform the operation on our numerator. We have 7 plus 8. The answer is 15. Okay, let us write 15 and then copy our denominator and then let us divide. So what is 15 divided by 15? Very good. So the answer is 1. Okay, so I hope that our first example is clear to all of you. Okay, let's move on to our second example. We have 3 over 4 minus 2 over 3. Now, the question is, what have you observed on our second example? That's correct. So we have different denominators, or we have the similar denominators. Okay. So in order to find out, or in order to perform the operation when we have the similar denominators, you need to find out the LCD, or the least common denominator. So you need to think of a number on which 4 is divisible and 3 is also divisible. So we need to look for the least, pinakamaliit na number na divisible si 4 at divisible si 3. Pwede ba si 4? Pwede si 4 kay 4, pero hindi siya pwede kay 3. What else? Ma'am, 6 po. Pwede si 6 kay 3, pero hindi pwede si 6 kay 4. What else? Ma'am, pwede po ang 8. Pwede si 8 kay 4, pero hindi siya pwede kay 3. Another, we have 9. Pwede si 9 kay 3, pero hindi pwede si 9 kay 4. What else? Okay, 12. Pwede ba si 12 kay 4? Pwede. Pwede ba si 12 kay 3? Pwede rin. So, therefore, our least common denominator will be 12. Okay. So, pwede si 12 kay 4 at pwede si 12 kay 3. So, divisible si 4 dito kay 12, divisible din si 3 dito kay 12. Okay, so let us perform the operation. We have 12 divided by 4. The answer is 3. Times 3, the answer is 9. And then copy the subtraction sign. We have minus. And then 12 divided by 3, we have 4. And then times 2, the answer is 8. Okay, so I hope clear sa inyo ha, ang naging process natin. Okay, next, we have 9 minus 8. What is 9 minus 8? Okay, very good. The answer is 1 over 12. Okay. Ma'am, ito na po ba ang ating final answer? Yes, kasi ito na ang kanyang lowest term. So, our final answer is 1 over 12. Okay, next. Let's have 10x minus 3x plus 4x plus 8. Okay, so ano naman kaya ang pwede nating gawin kapag ganito ang given? Okay, so look at this. If you may encounter this kind of given, you just need to combine like terms. Okay, so let us combine like terms. Meron ba tayong like terms dito? So meron pala tayong like terms. Ano yun? We have 10x. Okay, we have 10x. What else? We have negative 3x and we have 4x. So let us combine our like terms. So we have 10x minus 3x. The answer is 7x. And then plus 4x, copy. And then plus 8. Okay, the next one. Meron pa tayong pwedeng i-combine. We have 7x plus 4x. We have 11x plus 8. Ma'am, ito na po ba ang ating final answer? Yes. Ito na ang final answer natin kung wala siyang greatest common factor. Kung may common sa dalawang ito, hindi pa ito ang ating final answer. So, since 11 ito and then 8 ito, we do not have any common factor between them. So, therefore, that is our final answer. Okay, next example. We have 3x squared plus 2x plus 18x minus 2. Okay, so let us solve. Let us combine like terms. Meron ba tayong like terms? Yes, meron ulit. So we have 2x and we have 18x. Ma'am, ito din po, di ba? May x din. So, tayo po ay nasa second power dito. So, to the second power. So, hindi po siya katulad nito kasi ito nasa first power pa lang tayo. Okay. So, let us combine. Let us copy 3x squared. Ito yon. And then 2x plus 18x, we have 20x. And then copy minus 2. Okay. What is the next process? So, the next process is to find out if there is common factor between the three expression. So, meron bang common sa kanilang tatlo? Sa 3, sa 20, at sa negative 2. Okay, correct. So, we do not have any common factor. So, since we do not have any common factor, that will be our final answer. Okay, so I hope nakatulong ang ating given examples for you to easily accomplish your learning task number 1. So, it's your turn, grade 8 students. So, we have learning task number 1. So, you need to add or subtract the following. So, do it on an intermediate paper. So, that is for number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. Let us discuss operations on rational algebraic expressions. So, this will be our topic for this session. So, to add or subtract rational algebraic expression, you must always check the denominator. So, it is very important for you to know if our denominator are similar or dissimilar. So, in adding or subtracting rational algebraic expression with common denominator, simply add the numerators and copy the denominator. So, just like what we did on our given examples, on the time to review part, you just need to copy the denominator and then perform the operation on our numerator. And always reduce your answer to its simplest form. So, lagi ninyong ilalagay in lowest term. To deepen your understanding about operations on rational algebraic expressions, so we have different examples on your learning module, page 13 to 15. So I am here to explain to all of you the process in order for you to easily understand the lesson. So let us have first example. We have find the sum of 3 over 6b and 1 over 6b and write it in lowest term. So let us start. We have 3 over 6b plus 1 over 6b. So what have you observed on our given rational algebraic expressions? Okay, that's correct. So we have similar denominators. So going back to the steps in order to find the sum and difference of the rational algebraic expression, you just need to copy the similar denominators and then perform the operation on our numerators. Okay, so let us start. Let us copy the similar denominator, which is 6b. Okay, so let us write 6b and then let us perform the operation on our numerator. So we have 3 plus 1. So let us write 3 plus 1. Okay, the next step is to add. So what is 3 plus 1? Anyone? Okay, correct. We have 4. So let us write 4 and then copy our denominator, which is 6b. Okay, now, so what have you noticed on our numerator and denominator? Correct. So we can cancel 4 and 6. So why do we need to cancel 4 and 6? Very good. Because we have similar, or we have a common divisibility of 4 and 6. And what is that divisibility? Correct. So they are divisible by 2. Okay, so let us have 4 over 6b. So 4 divided by 2, the answer is 2. And then 6 divided by 2, the answer is 3. So we can apply the cancellation method. Okay, now, so since nakapag-cancel na tayo and then na-divide na natin, so let us copy the remaining term. So we have 2 and then our denominator, copy the remaining terms. We have 3 and then times b, we have 3b. Okay, so as you can see on our 2 over 3b, it is already written in lowest term. Okay, so therefore, our final answer is 2 over 3b. Okay, so let us proceed in our example number 2. So add x over x squared minus 4 and 2 over x squared minus 4. So let us have this. We have x over x squared minus 4 plus 2 over x squared minus 4. Okay, so what have you noticed on our given rational algebraic expressions? Okay, so again, we have similar denominators. Okay, so just like what we did on our previous example, we need to copy our similar denominator and perform the operation on our numerator. So we have x plus 2. So we have x plus 2 over x squared minus 4. Okay, now, so as you can see on our denominator, we have a perfect square. Okay, so am I right? Okay, so since we have perfect square, we can find out the factors of this perfect square. Okay, so since perfect square, itong ating x squared, and also 4. So we can easily find out the factors. Okay, so what do you think are the factors of x squared and negative 4? Anyone from this class? Okay, very good. So the factors of x squared are x and x. And the factors of negative 4 are positive 2 and negative 2. So let us write. We have x plus 2 times x minus 2. Okay, let us check. X times x, the answer is x squared. Positive 2 times negative 2, the answer is negative 4. Okay, now, what have you observed on our numerator and denominator? Do we have any common factors between them? Okay, very good. So we have common factors. And what do you think is the common factor between the numerator and the denominator? Okay, correct. So we have x plus 2 and x plus 2. So, since meron tayong common factor, we can apply the cancellation method. So, we can cancel this. Okay. So, let us cancel x plus 2 and x plus 2. So, what do you think is the remaining term on our numerator since gumamit na tayo ng cancellation method? Very good. So, ang natira na lang sa kanya ay 1. Hindi siya magiging 0. 1 siya. Okay. So, since may 1 dyan, let us copy the remaining terms. So, we have 1 and then x minus 2. Is that our final answer? Okay, correct. That is our final answer. 1 over x minus 2. Okay, let us move on our third example. So, let us simplify negative 2x plus 1 over x squared minus 4 minus negative 3x minus 1 over x squared minus 4. Okay, so since we have similar denominators, let us copy the denominator and perform the operation on our numerator. Okay, so our denominator is x squared minus 4. And let us perform the operation on our numerator. So, let's copy negative 2x plus 1 minus. So, since negative 3x ito, and the subtraction ng ating operation, we need to have the open and close parentheses. So, we have negative times negative 3x minus 1. Okay, so let us perform the operation on our numerator. We have negative 2x plus 1, then negative times negative 3x, we have positive 3x, so that will be our answer. And then we have negative times negative 1, the answer is positive 1. Okay, so can you follow? Alright, so we have negative 2x plus 1 plus 3x plus 1. Okay, so let us combine like terms. So, we have negative 2x. So, ito yung ating like terms. And also positive 3x. So, what is negative 2x plus 3x? Okay, so since ito ay negative, ito ay positive. So, we need to follow the sign of the bigger number or biggest number. So, we have negative 2x plus 3x. Proceed to subtraction. So, since magkaiba yung sign nila, and then follow the sign of the biggest number. So, between 3 and 2, mas malaki ang 3. So, we need to follow the positive sign. And that is positive x. So, we need to subtract. We have negative 2 plus 3 or 3 minus 2. We have 1. So, we have positive x. And then, what else? We need to combine positive 1 and positive 1. So, we have 1 plus 1. The answer is 2. So, let us write. We have x plus 2. Okay. So, since we have a perfect square on our denominator, let us find out the factors. So, ito na yung factors niya. Since nagawa na naman natin siya sa example number 2, let us have x plus 2 times x minus 2. Okay, now, on our given rational algebraic expressions, so do we have any common factor between our numerator and denominator? Yes, we have common factor. So, since we have common factor, let us cancel our common factor. So, the same nung ating example number 2, we have x plus 2 and x plus 2. And what will be the remaining term on our numerator? Very good. So, it is also 1. Okay, so let us copy 1, the remaining term, on our numerator. And then, for our denominator, we have x minus 2. Okay, so that will be our final answer. Okay, let us have example number 4. So, we need to find the sum of 2m over m minus 1 and 3 over m plus 4. Okay, so let us have this. 2m over m minus 1 plus 3 over m plus 4. Okay, what have you observed on our given rational algebraic expressions? Okay, so we have the similar denominators. So since the denominators are not similar, you need to find the LCD. So gaya nga nung ating examples, for you to easily accomplish your learning task number 1, we need to find out the LCD. Okay, so since tayo ay meron ditong expression, we need to copy both expressions on our denominator. So that will be our LCD. Okay? Kasi hindi naman katulad nung integer na we can find out easily or we can find easily our LCD. So, since meron tayo ditong expression, so we just need to copy both expressions and that will be our LCD. Okay, so let us write m minus 1 times m plus 4. Okay, so same process. We need to divide and multiply to our denominator. So look at this. Dito muna ang focus. M minus 1 times m plus 4 divided by m minus 1. So pwede nating makancel ang m minus 1 at m minus 1. So the remaining term or remaining expression will be m plus 4. And then we need to multiply it to our numerator, which is 2m. Kaya siya naging 2m times m plus 4. So I hope nasusundan ako ha. And then copy the addition sign. Okay. And then sunod naman itong second rational algebraic expression. Again, m minus 1 times m plus 4 divided by m plus 4. So common naman silang dalawa. So, therefore, we can cancel the two common factor. And then, let us copy m minus 1 and then multiply it to our numerator, which is 3. Okay, so we have plus 3 times m minus 1. So, I hope na nafa-follow ang steps natin. Okay, next. So, after that, we need to multiply. Okay, so let us have this. We have 2m times m. The answer is 2m squared. Okay, another one. 2m times 4, that is distributive property of multiplication. 2m times 4, we have positive 8m. Next, we have positive 3 times m. We have positive 3m. And then the last one, 3 times negative 1, we have negative 3. Okay, so after that, we need to combine like terms. So, alin ba dito ang ating like terms? Meron ba tayong like terms dito? Okay, meron tayong like terms. Ang like terms natin ay positive 8m and positive 3m. Ma'am, kasama po ba ang 2m squared? Hindi po, kasi siya ay nasa second power. To the second power. While itong dalawang ito, nasa first power lang. Okay? So, let us combine. What is 8m plus 3m? Very good. We have 11m. So, ito na yon. Let us copy 2m squared plus 11m minus 3 over m minus 1 times m plus 4. Okay, now, so since hindi natin mafa-factor using trial and error method or hindi naman siya makukuha natin ang kanyang factor, so that will be our final answer. Pero kung makukuha natin ang dalawang factors ng ating trinomial, pwede natin kunin. Kaso, since we have 2m squared plus 11m minus 3, we do not have any factors of this trinomial. So, therefore, that will be our final answer. Let us move on to the other operations and rational algebraic expressions, so which are multiplication and division. But in division, we need to proceed in multiplying the rational algebraic expression. So later on, you will understand the process in dividing rational algebraic expressions. Okay, so when two fractions are multiplied, we multiply the numerators of the fractions to form the new numerator, and we do the same for the denominators. So this is the same with rational algebraic expressions. So in rational algebraic expressions, when the operation is multiplication, you just need to multiply both numerators and both denominators. Okay, and if there are common factors in both numerator and denominator of the two rational algebraic expressions, then we may cancel them before we multiply. So, para mas madali para sa inyo ang mag-multiply, you may cancel the common factors in our numerator and in our denominator. And then after that, you may proceed to multiplying the rational algebraic expressions. Okay, so let's have example number 1. Find the product of 2s over 4k times 3 over 2k squared. Okay, so let us copy 2s over 4k times 3 over 2k squared. Okay, so the first step is to identify if there is common factor between our numerator and in our denominator. So do we have any common factor between them? Okay, so we have common factor. So we have 2 and we have 2. Okay, what else aside from that? Common din po ba ang k at k squared? So, hindi siya common factor kasi parehas silang nasa denominator. So, we just need to cancel the common factors between our numerators and in our denominator. So, since we have common factor which is 2, okay, so we may cancel that. So, it becomes 1. And it becomes 1 also kasi kinancel na natin. And then, the next step is to multiply. So, let us multiply. 1 times s, we have s times 3, we have 3s. And then, we have 4k times k squared, we have 4k cubed. Okay, so when multiplying the variable, you just need to add the exponent. So, ito ay may 1. And then, 1 plus 2, we have 3. Kaya siya naging 4k cubed. Okay, now, so take a look of this answer. Is there any common factor between our numerator and denominator? Okay, none. So, since we do not have any common factor between them, that will be our final answer. We have 3s over 4k cubed. Okay, let's have example number 2. So, find the quotient of m over 2 divided by m minus 2 over m minus 1. Okay, so let us copy m over 2 divided by m minus 2 over m minus 1. Okay, so the first step is to get the reciprocal of our divisor. So, ang ating divisor ay m minus 2 over m minus 1. Ma'am, ano ka po ang reciprocal? So, babaligtarin nyo. Si numerator, magiging denominator, and then si denominator, it becomes numerator. So, that will be our reciprocal, m minus 1 over m minus 2. So, since you already get the reciprocal of our divisor, we need to change the operation. So, since siya ay division, it becomes multiplication. So, let us copy m over 2 and then times the reciprocal m minus 2 over, rather m minus 1 over m minus 2. Now, look at our numerators and our denominators. Is there any common factor between them? Okay. Ma'am, common po ba itong dalawang ito? Hindi po. Kasi, ito, nag-iisa siya. Siya ay monomial. So, ito, hindi siya pwedeng maging ka-common ni M kasi siya ay may kakabit na operation. So, we have M minus 2. So, siya ay binomial. So, hindi sila common. Though may M dito at may M dito, makakancel nyo na siya. Hindi pwede. Ito rin. You cannot cancel M and M kasi siya ay binomial. So, maliban na lang kung ito ay m minus 1 at ito ay m minus 1 din. So, you can cancel the common factor. Okay, so since wala tayong common factor, let us proceed and multiplying our numerators and our denominators. Okay, so m times m, we have m times m, ito yon, yan, and then m times negative 1. Okay, so pwede natin yang i-multiply or simply just write m times m minus 1. And then pwede rin natin i-multiply 2m, 2 times m, and then 2 times negative 2. So, kapag minultiply natin yan ng isa-isa or using the distributive property of multiplication, kailangan pa rin natin siyang ilagay as in or in lowest term. So, ilalabas pa rin natin si m, which is our common factor or the greatest common factor. So, since ganito ang ating given, so our final answer will be m times m minus 1 over 2 times m minus 2. Okay? So, I hope clear sa inyo ang example number 2. So, kaya hindi natin siya i-multiply isa-isa kasi kahit i-multiply pa rin natin siya, ito pa rin ang magiging answer niya kasi ilalagay pa rin natin siya in lowest term. Okay, so let's have the last example and operations on rational algebraic expression. So we have example number 3. Divide k squared minus 25 over k plus 5 divided by k minus 5 over k squared plus 6k plus 5. Okay, so let us write k squared minus 25 over k plus 5 divided by k minus 5 over k squared plus 6k plus 5. So the first step is to take the reciprocal of our divisor. So just like what we did on our last example, we need to have the reciprocal of this. So the reciprocal is k squared plus 6k plus 5 over k minus 5. So our numerator becomes our denominator and our denominator becomes our numerator. And then let us change the operation. So from division, it becomes multiplication. So it becomes k squared minus 25 over k plus 5 times k squared plus 6k plus 5 over k minus 5. Okay, now, so since our operation now is multiplication, so before we proceed in multiplying our numerators and denominators, let us find out the factors of our numerators. So let us start with k squared minus 25. So what have you noticed on our k squared minus 25? Okay, that is correct. We have a perfect square. So k squared minus 25 is a perfect square. Okay, how about this? K squared plus 6k plus 5. This is a trinomial. Okay, so since ang ating first term ay 1 ang numerical coefficient, we can easily find out the factors of this. Okay, if it is factorable. Okay, now, so let us find out the factors of k squared minus 25 since it is a perfect square. So since it is a perfect square, we can easily find out the factors of k squared and we can easily find out the factors of negative 25. And what are the factors of k squared and negative 25? Okay, correct. We have k plus 5 times k minus 5 because the factors of k squared are k and k, and the factors of negative 25 are positive 5 and negative 5. And then copy our denominator, which is k plus 5. And then copy also the operation, which is multiplication. And then let us proceed to our trinomial. Okay, so in order to factor our trinomial, you need to think of a number, or you need to think of the numbers that the sum is 6 and the product is 5. So what do you think? The two numbers rather. So the two numbers are positive 5 and positive 1. So since positive ang ating 6k at positive ang ating constant term, parehas silang positive. Okay, so now 5 plus 1, we have 6, and 5 times 1 is equal to 5. Kaya nga sabi ko, you need to think of two numbers which is the sum is 6 and rather the sum is 6 and the product is 5. Okay, and then what are the factors of k squared? So, of course, k times k. Okay, so we have k plus 5 times k plus 1 over k minus 5, which is our denominator. Okay, now, so before we start multiplying our numerators and denominators, both numerators and both denominators, we need to find out if there is a common factor between our numerator and denominator before multiplying. Okay, so is there any common factor? Yes, we have common factor. And what are those? Yes, we have k plus 5 and we have k plus 5. What else? Meron pa ba? Yes, we have k minus 5 and we have k minus 5. So let us cancel. So let us cancel k plus 5 and we have this, okay, k plus 5 and k plus 5, so it becomes 1, it becomes 1, and then k minus 5 and k minus 5, it becomes 1, and it becomes also 1. Okay, so since 1 na to lahat, 1 times k plus 5 times k plus 1, the answer is k plus 5 over k plus 1. How about our numerators? So it becomes 1 and then it becomes 1. 1 times 1, we have 1. So since ang ating denominator ay 1 na, so meaning to say, we can rewrite it as k plus 5 times k plus 1. Okay, so after this, we can now proceed in multiplying the two binomials. So let us multiply. We have k times k, we have k squared, and then that is the product of our first term. And then we have the product of our outer terms. We have k times 1, we have k. Okay. And then we have positive 5 times k, our inner terms. We have plus 5k. Yan. Sorry sa aking pagsusulat. Yan. And then we have 5 times 1, we have 5. Okay. So ito yung 5, ito yung k squared. And then what is k plus 5k? That is the product of the outer and inner terms. We have k plus 5k, we have 6k. Okay, so that will be our final answer. K squared plus 6k plus 5. Now, it's your turn to accomplish your learning task number 1. So perform the indicated operation. So for number 1, find the sum of 2x over x minus 1 and x over x minus 1. Number 2, find the difference when 2x minus 8 over x plus 6 is subtracted from 4x plus 1 over x plus 6. And then number 3, multiply the following. We have y squared minus y minus 2 over 5y and 10y over y plus 1. And then for the last given, we have divide 6 over 28x plus 4 and then divided by 6 over 35x plus 5. So you need to write that on your intermediate paper. Okay, so under these operations and rational algebraic expressions, we have also what we call rational equations. Okay, so to be able to solve a problem involving rational algebraic expressions, you must make a rational equations. Okay, so there are problems that involves rational algebraic expressions. That's why we need to construct or to make a rational equation. So to make rational equations, you must translate a word problem into a mathematical sentence. So we may have the equation proper or the expression. So in order to perform the operation on such problem, we need to translate the word problem into a mathematical sentence. Okay, so for example, 7 divided by the sum of a number, and 2 is equal to half the difference of the number and 3. So we need to find all such numbers. So again, 7 divided by the sum of a number. So we need to represent a variable as a number. So usually we can represent x as a number. Okay, so let us have the process in order to solve that problem. Okay, so the first one is find what is as. So we need to find the numbers. That is the question. We need to find the numbers. So the second process is to write all the given. So note, use only one variable. So just like what I've said earlier, we need to use x as a number. Okay, so look at your module, page 16. So 7 divided by the sum of a number and 2. So 7 divided by the sum. That's why we have this operation, addition. So 7 divided by the sum of a number, which is x, and 2. So that's why 7 over x plus 2. And then the next equation will be, or the rational equation will be, is equal to half the difference of the number and 3. So half. When we say half, we have 1/2. Diba? So we have 1/2 is equal to half the difference of the number and 3. Okay. Of the number. So we can have x and then minus 3. Okay. So why it so happened na naging x minus 3 over 2 siya? Kasi po, 1 times x minus 3, that is x minus 3 over 2. Diba ang sabi? Half, 1/2, the difference of the number and 3. So we can multiply 1 to x minus 3, so it becomes x minus 3 over 2. Okay, so letter C is to write the operation to be used and the equation to work on. So ang verb na ginamit natin dyan ay is equal. So we need to have 7 over x plus 2 is equal to x minus 3 over 2. Okay, and then the next step, we need to use, or we need to apply cross multiplication. So we have this, x plus 2 times x minus 3. Ito yon. Yan. And then we have this 7 times 2. We have 7 times 2. So ito yon. And then let us multiply it using distributive property of multiplication. So using the FOIL method, so we can multiply this. Pwede natin siyang i-multiply. So we have product of the first terms. We have x times x. We have x squared. This is the answer. And then product of the outer terms. We have x times negative 3. We have negative 3. Okay. And then we have product of the inner terms. Positive 2 times x. We have positive 2x. Okay, so this will be negative 3x. And then positive 2x. This is okay. And then positive 2 times negative 3, we have negative 6. So why do we have this negative x? So saan siya nanggaling? So we have negative 3x plus 2x. So since we have negative 3x and positive 2x, we have the similar sign here. So we need to proceed to subtraction and then copy the sign of the biggest number. The biggest number is 3. So the sign of 3 is negative. So we need to follow the sign negative and then proceed to subtraction. So negative 3x plus 2x. So we need to subtract 3 minus 2. We have 1. So it becomes negative x. And then let us have this 7 times 2. 7 times 2 is 14. Okay, now, so since we are asked to find the numbers, meaning to say, we need to find at least or more than one number. So since find the numbers, we have this x squared minus x minus 20. So bakit siya naging 20? So we need to transpose 14 to the other side of the equation. So it becomes negative 14. So negative 6. So it becomes negative 6. And then minus 14. So since tayo ay parehas ang sign, we have this negative. Okay. So we have negative and negative. So we need to proceed to addition. So proceed to addition and then copy the similar sign. We have negative 6 plus 14. We have 20. Okay, now, so since we have a trinomial, we can get the two factors. So what are the factors of x squared? X and x. And then we need to think of two numbers that the sum is negative 1 and the product is negative 20. Okay, so since ang ating sign ng negative x at ng 20 ay negative, so meaning to say, meron tayong magkaibang sign. So, since ang sign ng ating constant term ay negative, so meaning to say, isang positive at isang negative. Okay, so we need to follow the sign of the biggest number. Kaya, kung ano yung sign nito, which is negative, yun yung sign ng mas malaking factor. So, what are the factors of negative 20? We have 5 and 4. Or what are the factors of 20? We have 5 and 4. So, since ang sign ng ating middle term ay negative, so meaning to say, we need to have we have the biggest number, which is 5. So, ang ating sign ng biggest number ay negative. So, we have x minus 5 times x plus 4. So, let us check. X times x, x squared. And then let us multiply the outer terms and then the inner terms. And then let us add x times 4. We have 4x. So let us write 4x. And then we have negative 5 times x. We have negative 5x. Okay. So since magkaiba rin ang sign nila, sabi ko nga, proceed to subtraction and then copy the sign of the biggest number which is negative. So, negative yon. Naging negative na ito. And then, 4 minus 5, we have negative 1, syempre. So, let us subtract. We have 4 minus 5, we have 1, negative x minus 20. Okay, so let us equate the two factors to 0. So, x minus 5 is equal to 0. So, tinranspose natin sa kabila, it becomes x is equal to 5. And then, itong x plus 4 is equal to 0. Ta-transpose natin sa kabila si 4. So, it becomes negative 4. So, let us write the final answer. If x is equal to 5, the number is 1. And if x is equal to negative 4, the number is negative 7 over 2. I hope that my video tutorial will be helpful to understand the lesson. Okay, so you may proceed now to learning task number 3. So you need to perform the operation being asked in each item. So you need to simplify your final answer. So for our task number 3, you need to find the sum of 3 over 2a and 1 over 6a and write it in simplest form. So sum, it pertains to addition. And then find the answer when a over a minus b is decreased by b over a minus b. So that is decreased, so it pertaining to subtraction. And then for number 3, simplify 6 over x squared minus 4 plus 2 over x squared minus 5x plus 6. So addition din ito. And then subtract 5 over 2x squared plus 5x minus 3. And then minus 3 over 2x squared minus 11x plus 5. And then the last one is add 3x over x squared plus 5x plus 6 plus x minus 2 over x squared plus 2x minus 3. Okay, so for your learning task number 4, you need to perform the operation being asked in each item. So it is more on multiplication and division. So for number 1, we have 3ab over 5 times 4b over a squared. Number 2, 3x squared over 2 times 2 over 9x. Number 3, x squared minus x minus 6 over 5x plus 5 times 5 over x minus 3. Number 4, 4 over n minus 6 divided by 4n over 8n minus 48. And then for number 5, a minus 4 over a squared minus 2a minus 8 divided by 1 over a minus 5. And then number 6, 6a plus 27 over 18a squared plus 36a divided by 16a plus 72 over 2a plus 4. So don't forget to get the reciprocal of the divisor when the operation is division. Okay, and then for your last learning task, we have learning task number 5. You need to solve the following problem. So for number 1, the width of a rectangle is 6x plus 8 and the length of the rectangle is 12x plus 16. You need to determine the ratio of the width to the perimeter. So you need to supply the following. The perimeter, 2L or 2 length plus 2 width is equal to blank. Then the ratio is equal to blank. And then you need to write your final answer in simplest form. Okay, and then for the next problem, F4 is divided by a number is equal to 3 divided by the number decreased by 2, find the number. So you just need to follow the process in order to solve the problems that involves rational algebraic expression. So you need to translate the problem into a mathematical sentence. So after you accomplish your learning task, you may proceed to the reflection part. So on an intermediate paper, you need to write this. This time, you may write your personal insights about the lesson by completing the following sentence prompts. So write your answer on an intermediate paper. So the first one, I understand that, I realized that, and the last one is I wish to ask my teacher about. And then after that, you may answer the provided personal assessment on learner's level of performance for week 3. So that's all for today. Thank you so much. See you next time.